I admit it. I was wrong. But before I tell you how I was wrong or what I was wrong about, let me give you some background. I want to have faith in our judicial system. It's certainly not perfect, but you cannot come up with a better judicial system anyplace else in the world. So it's deeply disappointing when I see the system abused. And I'm not just a casual observer. I actually tried cases for years, criminal cases, before many juries. Sometimes I agreed with jury verdicts, sometimes I did not. But I always, even when I disagreed and the jury verdict went the other way, I always respected the juries, and I believed their decision was made in good conscience. I always appreciated the seriousness with which they carried out their jobs, because fundamental to justice is fairness, looking at the evidence, weighing it, and making a fair decision. I bet you've even served on a jury, so you know how important the job is. It's not a joke, nor a drama, which brings me to this. Yesterday, in both a staff meeting and in a bigger meeting here at Newsmax, people were discussing the Georgia Special Grand Jury foreperson. Her name is Emily Kohrs, and she has given an interview to the New York Times, and well before a final outcome in the investigation. She shouldn't have done that. When she was asked about recommended indictments for former President Donald Trump and others, Kohrs said, quote, "It's not a short list." And when asked whether the special grand jurors recommended indicting the former president, Kohrs said, quote, "You're not going to be shocked." She added, "It's not rocket science, and you won't be surprised." Later in her interview, when talking about serving on the special grand jury, Kohrs says that she was insanely excited, and adding, quote, "This is one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me." At first, I was scandalized. What she said was bizarre for a juror, and why would the New York Times publish that? I even criticized the New York Times on Tuesday, right here in this news show, for publishing what that foreperson said. This article, I mean, just gossip. That's what it is, it's just gossip. No. Well, that was not the end of it. I only wish it were. The special grand jury foreperson also gave TV interviews. Here's what she said in part.
I wanted to hear from the former president, but honestly, I kind of wanted to subpoena the former president because I got to swear everybody in. And so I thought it'd be really cool to get 60 seconds with President Trump. I will be sad if nothing happens. Like that's about my only request there is for something to happen. I don't necessarily know what it is. I'm not the legal expert. I'm not the judge. I'm not the lawyers, but I will be frustrated if nothing happens. This was too much information, too much of my time, too much of everyone's time, too much of their time, too much argument in court about getting people to appear before us. There was just too much for this to just be, oh, okay, we're good, bye.
And if it was just a perjury charge, or perjury charges, would that be acceptable to you?
That's fine. I will be happy as long as something happens.
Why should do that and say that? What kind of juror who took an oath would be saying things like that about confidential special grand jury proceedings? It was giddy and grossly irresponsible what she said. So to repeat it, to report it, also seemed to me to be irresponsible. So now upon reflection, I know I was wrong to criticize the New York Times for interviewing her and reporting what she said, because it's an important story. Why? To put a spotlight on the special grand jury and whether it was conducted in a fair manner. It peeled back the curtain and gave you a glimpse of what the foreperson was thinking and doing, and it's an ugly one. And whether you are pro-Trump or anti-Trump, I'm sure you agree, proceedings must be fair. She did not take her job seriously. She made a mockery of it. But it gets worse. The prosecutor, shame on the prosecutor. That prosecutor had to have known that this foreperson was unfit for the job. The foreperson should never have been on this panel or should have been removed once she was on the panel. The prosecutor spent 8 months working with the foreperson and interviewing about 75 witnesses in front of the grand jury. Are you telling me there was no clue for that prosecutor? None? One short interview in the New York Times was enough for the rest of us. We did not need 8 months. And if you think that I'm too hard on this prosecutor, think about this. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Kohrs, the foreperson, swore in Georgia House Speaker David Ralston before that special grand jury, and she did it, brace yourself, holding a Ninja Turtle popsicle. Are you telling me the prosecutor just stood there watching that, didn't think anything was a bit weird? The prosecutor's a lawyer, an officer of the court, and the prosecutor let that happen? Really? And where does an adult woman, the foreperson on a serious matter, a special grand jury, get a Ninja Turtle popsicle to swear in witnesses? Hold your breath for this answer. The foreperson got that Ninja Turtle popsicle at an ice cream party thrown by, are you still holding your breath? the district attorney's office. It was the prosecutor's party, and the foreperson was part of the party. So yes, this juror is a disgrace. She tainted the special grand jury system and this investigation. And the prosecutor, I would send the prosecutor to the bar. Let the bar decide whether the prosecutor should keep the prosecutor's license. Finally, thank you to the news organizations, including the New York Times, for peeling back the curtain on this one. This is the record.